girl hanging on my purse, I'm fit pop one more beer. Because we shit blood, I don't make that nigga my kid. Me and Cuz with slime at you 40, that's my twin. Make it so slide and we get up in the wind. Mama hate when I press that line, but I'm on his head. You know how I did, know I might end up dead. I be stressed out, sit down, burn me some med.
So I think my main objective in music in general is to inspire and test boundaries, you know. Obviously, you want to celebrate the fruits of your labor and have a good time, and you know, you don't do this for the shitty accolades. You do this for all the cool ones and that come with it. But I think down to like my core is like I know how important this tool is. What I want, what we're doing, what will happen is substantial growth and things that will be like pillars. There will be statues. They will be like things to which you can study and be like, this fucking worked. This continues to work. This, if you act like this, if you do things out of like, this is really how I feel, it will continue to work. So that's what music is to me, is like a responsibility. It has nothing to do with the accolades. You know, you can get, if you want to make money, music's still the fucking last thing you should do. You know how much money I've blown through? Like, how much money gets used on bad ideas and then you have to recoup? Like, so it's like, if I was trying to go make bread, I would have been a lawyer. I can talk real good, you know? I can talk very well. And I can finesse. I can do whatever it is I choose to and want to do. And that's including being a bad person. I just chose to hopefully take the right path.
The music is really just an extension of the person, and you know, just by seeing what he's been doing and what he continues to do for the community, and you know, for the local music scene, for the art scene, for the kids, it's just really inspiring. So I think I'm a big believer in, you know, what you put into this world you get back, and you know, I just think all this positive energy and all these good things he's doing continues to come back to him, and will continue to come back to him.
Just seeing the work ethic that he has, and coming from, you know, this area that we live, there's a lot of naysayers. There's no blueprint, you know, because there's nobody come, you know, before him, and there's nobody to really like look up to. So he's kind of like forming his own path, and those like me and the other ones that he, you know, surrounds himself with, you know, we're just here to, you know, and help him get there. And I know I speak for everybody else involved that, you know, he definitely serves as an inspiration to us.
I know I've been to every single show. I've been to the shows where there was one person in the crowd. I've been to the shows where it was sound check, and the same people that were there for sound check were there for the show, where nobody was there. I've seen the mishaps up on stage where he'd be like fumbling over his words or like forgetting something. And like, it's just the growth that he's had since like we started what we're doing has been exponential. Confidence on stage has changed a lot. He's always been confident. He's always had that confidence within himself and within the people around him that support him. But the growth has just been insane to see.
It was easy to see that early on that he wasn't going to give up, that he was going to keep going no matter what. And I mean, there's been some failures. I know we've been to some shows that weren't, you know, hardly any people in the crowd. But I doubt Bill would say those are failures. You know, everything's a win. You find some way to celebrate the victories, but as far as his career goes, he's just been always hustling, always moving forward. I think that, like I said, he had this concept of his rap, and the more and more he produces his albums and the more he does his shows and other events, it just really shows that he's fulfilling that prophecy.
Oh, it's crazy looking back. I mean, I remember when we were still at Simpson and he was doing the beats in the fraternity dorm rooms. I mean, he and the guys were just putting stuff together in little bitty dorm rooms. And it's crazy because, you know, in the beginning, it was kind of a lot of the similar kind of stuff. But as we've gotten older and as he's gotten more experience and more relationships with people in the industry, it's evolved from being more crisp sounding to having different kind of genres. He's hitting R&B, he's hitting rap, he's hitting a little bit of rock and stuff with our boy TK. So it's gone from basic music to evolutionary.
So the first one was like when we saw him on stage. I mean, it was just blew my mind. I can't speak for his mom, but we knew we had something going on once he started doing that too. So yeah, I'm thinking when it's his first performance that we took in. So yeah. Oh, absolutely. The crowd that was going off and cheering him on and everything. So he played into it.
Just him as a person, he just constantly strives to better himself. And over the years, every year, he's just constantly doing that. So it's good to not see him like ever fall back, or when he does, or if there's something that happens, he just uses that as fuel and motivation to push him over the next edge or push him to new boundaries. And I think that's something that I take away when I go through shit or like my struggles or whatever. Is just like, let me find a way to use that to push me over and beyond. So I think just constantly seeing him evaluate himself and being able to reflect on what he done, not even done wrong, but just to see what he can do better. I think that's very important and something that I'm glad that I see in him over the years.
All I want to do is keep creating, and there's no ruler to that, right? It's like that's endless. So it's like once you set one threshold or one benchmark, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna do all the things to get up there, and then we're gonna fucking go here, and then once we're here, it's like we're going there. And so it's like that's never gonna slow down. I know that's not how business works. Every business that I've ever studied or seen or been a part of has always studied what they did, learned from it, took their L's, licked their wounds, and got better.
Hey girls, please. It's been a while since you and I had a chance to catch up. Give me a call when you can. Love ya. Bye. Bye.
He's a complex human being, and I mean that all in the best way. He is this very compassionate human being that just cares about people and is really, really driven at the same time and is amazingly creative.
I feel like a huge thing that I have to talk about in this, or just in perspective of not only this album being made, but who I am and the reason that I am who I am, is she's I have the utmost respect and admiration for that woman for whatever reason she saw a beaming light in me and refused to let me be anything less than what I was like fully capable of.
I would say when I first met him, he was more, like I said, I wouldn't say a jerk, just kind of a jerk. So, but now he's more, I feel like he's more like in tune with like other people's feelings and his own feelings. I just think he's grown as an individual, like overall, into a better man.
When we first met each other, it was on semi-rough terms. He was kind of arrogant and rude. And now, I mean, he's known around the whole city as the caring, giving kind of guy. So, I mean, he's truly matured into a fantastic adult. When I first met him, we were kids, and now he's a grown-ass man.
I think him reading all his books has helped him, but I think he's changed for the better. He used to be more into himself and worried more about himself instead of people, and he's grown, and that was like back when I first met him, but that was young Bill, you know, and then he's just done nothing but grow, cares more about the people that are around him and the people that show love to him and people that are in need, like the kids of like Jackson Elementary and like Capitol View Elementary, and trying to like even care for the community that he lives in and he takes a part in. The change is just a complete like 180. He's always been a good dude, but I don't know, man, the way that I see him now, he's a light, you know?
So it was like no excuse worked, you know, like all the bullshit that I cooked up in my head or all the excuses that I wanted to use to justify shitty behavior, like it didn't work. And it was like, that was the first person in my life that really called me out. It was like this blessing came into my life because I spent my whole life being very obsessed with things. You know, my mom worked very hard. So we had things. We could go out to eat. We could have this, that, and the third. We go on vacations. But it was just like, there's still a big disconnect because I'm not understanding what love really is. I don't really like, I get it. You know, I hear people talk about love, but like, I love a thing until I don't love that thing no more, you know? But it's like, I don't really know how to connect with a human. And that's why it was like, I would treat people shitty. That's not justification. It's just me understanding. Like, that's why I treated people shitty. It's like, I thought that people were like, I was treating people like things. And it was like, once they no longer benefit me, it was like, okay, well, I guess on to the next thing, you know? And it's like, that's such a toxic, shitty mindset to have that it can like destroy you unless you get checked on it.
Since I've known him, he's become more humble. When I first met him, he had hair and not as great of a beard. And you could always count on him to take his shirt off on stage. You know, like clockwork. The last song, he'd pop his shirt off. And I think as the years have grown on, he's become more humble to where, you know, he just buttons it down a little bit and maybe lets 2 of the 6 packs out. But just overall, you know, all jokes aside, you know, he just has stayed humble, and he really hasn't let the success go to his head, which is super important because, I mean, you know, you could have a sold out show one day and 10 people at your show the next day, and you know, he never lets any of that go to his head, and he just continues to be humble and strive to do better always.
Find your dreams come true, and I wonder if you know what it means, and I wonder.
Just happy to be here. I'm happy to be a part of the Des Moines community, the art scene, everything that's moving forward in this, I don't know, there's a renaissance coming, and I hope everybody's like prepared for it because, I don't know, it speaks for itself.
It's more than just the music. I think that's what makes him different. Like you said, he'll give back to the community with clothing drives, food drives. He'll give back to the art scene. He'll give back to the music scene. And he'll just make everything unique as possible as it can be.
It's nothing, especially like when we saw him doing an event that he was going to be having with the kids and their coats and stuff, and to see him on the noon news doing that, and one of his roommates, Jim's sister, and it was always calling upon him, and he gets out there and does stuff for the kids and things. So he gotta be running for mayor pretty soon. So
I've never even been around nobody that was like, yo, we should do a fundraiser for this and that. It's never, I've only ever raised funds for myself. You know what I'm saying? So like, he does a lot for the community. He's always in the schools. The kids love him. Like, he got a stack of thank you cards from these kids thick as an old Bible, like a few of them. And he don't ever like I mean, he keeps them all, but he don't ever like gloat or like, you know, put it out like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's like, you know, he stays real humble. He does it because he wants to do it. It's never a PR stunt or like a, you know, oh, this would be a good way to like build the turnout or whatever. It's like anything that he feels as soon as he feels the inclination, he goes with it. It's like a lot of people like want to help or want to make a difference or whatever. It's like as soon as he hears something that he's like, oh, I need this, they need that, it's an instant. Okay, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do a coat drive. We're gonna do, you know, the Australia fires. We're gonna do, you know, we're gonna send some money to Flint. We're gonna do this. You know, we do a lot for the kids mostly, but it really anything that catches his eyes, like if it tugs on that heartstring, he gonna go full swing and make it happen.
Luckily, I got checked by somebody that I not only had like love and admiration and respect for, but also like wanted to be with. And like it was like, if I lose her, I'm fucked up out here, you know? So it's like I remember plenty of times being like, damn, I might fuck this up, you know? And like that was just an eye-opening experience to me, where it was just like, yo, you really do have the capabilities to do anything. You know that, right? Like people do love you and people do hold you in this high regard, and you can probably go be whatever the fuck it is you want to be in the world, but including that, you can also go be a douchebag. You can also go be a dick. You can also go be things that the world doesn't need or necessary. And so I just think her overall just overwhelming and just relentless, you know? It was like, I got to learn what true love was. And it was like, that was cool as fuck to me. And that opened up my eyes to being like, okay, like, now I take this huge shift, right? Where I'm like focusing all this time on what I need to be doing and what Billy needs to do and what I want and what I need to happen in my life. And it was just like, once I took that shift and put it on like, okay, this is what I can do to make my team's life better. This is what I can do to make my friends' life better. This is what I can do to make my family's life better. Just their interaction and personal connection with me better. Like, that's when it was like, this is gonna be endless. I'm taking off forever. I'm gone forever. There's nothing more influential in the world. Like artists say that all the time than hip hop. There's not a sport, there's not a teacher, there's not a class, there's not an episode on Netflix. Nothing in the world is more influential than hip hop. It affects everything. You know I ain't when I get around, so it's a long way down. Check it. Devastating returns and worthless reinvestments. Perpetuate bad thoughts, reality's what I'm left with. That's no longer good in my eyes. What's a pilot to do if he can't get to them skies? Rise on, young fella. Ain't no time for this.
Dude's a psychopath.
Has always been driven. I mean, from the time, I mean, he is focused. He knows what he wants from the time he was a baby till now. He knew what he wanted and he'd go after it and he'd do what he needed to do to make it happen.
Billy won't do anything or release anything, put his name on it, unless, you know, it's flawless to his standards. Not that, you know, people produce things and it's not great, but he always wants to be the next level.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is, I think it was late 2013, shortly after I met him. I booked an artist here at Woolies. He opened up for the artist, and then we had the opportunity to take it to a bigger venue. So we did, and it was definitely a risk, and since building off the relationship I had with him, I pleaded to have a local opener on the show with the agent, and I got a slot, gave it to Billy, and it was just it was a show that we really weren't sure if it was going to perform, and I asked him to what I thought was an impossible task. I gave him 200 tickets and was like, sell what you can, and I expected him to sell 20, 30 tickets and I would have been happy with it. And the day of the show comes and he walks up to me with a big smile on his face, and I asked him, yeah, how many did you sell? And he just handed me an envelope, sold every single last one of them.
He's super resourceful, and he's not going to take, no for an answer.
We're still in the beginning stages where we're not where we want to be yet. I don't think he's ever going to be where he wants to be. He's always going to be pushing for that next level.
the only way you become great at anything is like just a relentless, sickening work ethic. Honestly, that's the only aha moment I've ever had. It's just been like, let's get back to work. Like, and work fucking way harder than however they're working or whatever they're doing. Study it, dissect it, depict, understand, get what works, what doesn't work for them, and then utilize it. You know what I mean? Make it your own, study, and destroy them. It's just I don't know, the mindset that I've captured. I feel like I've tapped into that demon. I know him well. I know my other angel well too, but like I know him. I talk to him like he's in my ear. Like, you know, go fucking crazy, kill him.
The down payment for my crib came off Culture Con. So compare us if you must, but ain't what we on. Your outfit look dope. That's probably why you broke. Ain't no chance in the ring, so these suckers throwing jokes at the champ. Hold a belt in every class. Mythos determined, folk low wrong smash.
I think as a person, what makes him unique is just his drive, regardless of if it's with music or not music. Like when he sets his mind to do something, like it's gonna happen, or he's gonna do anything in his power to do what he wants, to bring it to life. I think that's like a trait that not many people possess, or if they do possess it, they don't take advantage of it. I think he takes advantage of every skill that he has or the assets around him. And I think that in itself is very unique.
One unique trait about Bill, I would say, is the ability to evolve as a human. I mean, a lot of people, we get stuck in our ways, as you know, and it's hard for us to actually mature and grow up. A lot of us just say we're going to do something and we aspire to do it, but we never truly change. But what's special about Billy is you can see, even from the times when I first met him, he's evolved from coming in as maybe an arrogant jock to evolve into being almost a philosophical leader in Des Moines, and he's truly making an impact.
Anybody that comes to our shows like knows the bar gets raised every time, and so it's more than just being able to perform. It's more than being able to just drop music. Like there has to be, you know, more to it. It's got to really be like a work of art.
That's one thing I really respect about it. I think he does a lot for the community in a philanthropic sense, and then even in a creative sense, as far as like giving people opportunity, you know, based on like merit versus, you know, friendship or cronyism or, you know, stuff like that, where there's a lot of politics involved and a lot of stuff that goes on in the music, in the art in general.
There's a couple people that I know are working harder on their craft because of the opportunities that were given to them, because of the things that Bill and like our organization has put together to like help create a culture and to help just feed the culture. You go to the art shows and extremely diverse, and it's beautiful.
Usually when people get that access and have doors open to them, they turn into like a gatekeeper, you know what I mean? And they hold it all for themselves. And it's like anybody that Bill sees with talent, no matter what level they can bring, you know what I mean? If the talent is there, like there's an opportunity for you to, you know what I mean, to work with them and do something. I think that's really rare. I think that's, you know, I don't have that a lot where I'm from either, you know what I mean? So
no one's putting a gun to our head and being like, you better fucking do good things for the city, or you better do good, you just better be good to people. It's just, it's genuine. I think that's really how we feel. We really want to make people's lives easier, better. Like, you don't never have any idea what someone's going through, right? From, in regards to a stranger, like, so it's like, why would you make it worse? Is how I'm looking at it. Why would you make your city worse? Why would you make the scene worse? Why would you make a situation or anything worse when you could make it better? And that's how I'm gonna look at my entire life. That's how I continue to do so. And so that'll create more events, that'll create more collaborations, that'll create more ideas, because it's like, it's coming from a genuine place of people wanting people to do good and wanting good things to happen, not benefiting. You know, the more you give, the more you get anyway.
Been embracing the difference now, misunderstood and they wonder how. Could fly to Morocco tomorrow, you down? Bitch, I got money now. Winner, chicken dinner now. Railing in town.
I love that he's reflecting back on his own journey and kind of putting it all together and capturing that, not only his journey, but the people who've been a part of it with him.
It's easy to get caught up in asking yourself like why I'm not where I should be, but with him it's kind of you know, everything happens for a reason. It's just kind of like one day at a time. As long as you keep moving forward, you know, that door is going to open up.
He always says this life shit gonna test you. You just gotta be ready for it, you know? I know even on his bad days, he still is going to the gym. He's still in the studio. You can always fight through it. You know, that's one thing I've definitely learned from him.
I'm just looking forward to the future, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, the amount of progress that we made in this short amount of time, to me, is insane. I look forward to seeing where that drive takes us. Like, if we've done this in 2 years, what it's gonna be looking back like 10 years from now on this stuff, because it's just the levels that we're climbing to and the rate that we're going is insane.
I could pass tomorrow and know that I did everything in my power to see it through. And as long as I can continue to live that way, I'll be satisfied. I don't have to win a Grammy, you know? My mom's proud of me. My dad is proud of me and speaks highly of me. You know, my peers respect me. My friends love me. My brothers have my back, you know? I have some of the greatest friends in the world. I have 2 dope-ass cats, you know what I mean? Like, I have a great house. I live in a dope neighborhood right off of downtown. I ride my bike to bartend and bar back at the hottest music venue in town. Like, this life is good. It's beautiful right now. And so, obviously, want to keep pushing boundaries and seeing what we can do, but this is dope. Like, I'm just thankful beyond ables of explanation, if that makes sense. I don't think I'll ever be able to, like, put into words how dope having a dream is, you know, or just having like a vision in your head, like, just keep going, it's almost there, or just, that's dope. I hope that whoever's watching this, whoever's see it, whoever's listened to our music, came to a show, bought some merch, anything that, like, even had a conversation with us is like inspired by like what we're doing.